So I'll just run through this real quickly. So how do we do genetic modification? So the first step is really the hardest, and I think we all sort of just poo-poo that, oh, we'll find the gene. You know, when you listen to NPR, you listen to the news, they talk about how scientists have found a gene for this or found a gene for that. That really trivializes it. It's a really hard thing to positively confirm that a gene does something, okay? So don't hear that and think it's easy. That's millions and millions of dollars worth of work to do that first step. So you got to first identify that gene. So I'll say that's the really hard part, or one of the hardest parts. Then we got to grow that cell that we want to put it in tissue culture. So we need to grow it in little plates in growth chambers. Okay? And for some crops, that's really, really hard. For rice, it's easy. For corn, it's really hard. Then we need to clone the DNA into some organism to get it into that cell. Then we need to add the gene into that organism. And so anybody know what this is? It's not a nematode. I think it's a gall. So it's crown gall. So Agrobacteria tumefaciens makes this thing called crown gall. And that bacteria actually learned a long time ago how to modify other organisms' DNA. Okay? So it actually gets into the tree, it modifies its DNA to grow this structure. And so scientists discovered that and they thought, huh, that's neat. We could use that same organism to put DNA we want to into the species we want. And so that's what's used more often, or was in the past, I guess. It depends on if you're in the private or public sector. John Sanford developed this thing called the gene gun, and it actually just shoots the DNA into the cell. So you do that into cells in tissue culture. Then you got to grow those plants up. Then you got to propagate them. So these are all the easy parts. And then the two hardest parts are you need to convince a company to invest in that and get it deregulated. Okay? You'll see there's not too many new genes that are in the marketplace. And it's because of, number one, this is really hard, and because the end, it's very hard to convince somebody. And then the last one is near impossible. That's to convince public that they should actually, you know, eat this stuff. Okay? And that's one of our biggest problems.